Welcome back to the Shipyard. Today we are talking about the Regent's Flagship, the Mirror Universe Negvar class. Base stats are 5 attack, 1 agility, 7 hull, 3 shields, giving it 10 total durability and 32 points. The named ability that instead of making a normal attack with your primary weapon, you may fire in any direction at up to 2 enemy ships at range 1 with 4 attack dice against each ship. It's important to note that you still get the range 1 bonus, so it really becomes 5 attack dice. This is a great compensation for a ship that does not make hard turns except as red maneuvers. Also, the ability to take battle stations is of great use, and having 3 crew slots serves the flagship very well. The generic Negvar class loses a shield, loses a crew slot, you save 2 points. I think it's a bit too much, because to spend 30 points on a ship with only a 90-90 arc that only has red hard turns, white banks except ones, I just don't see it being of great use. There's place for it as a heavy hitter for the Mirror faction, but I still think you're better off swarming with Defiance and Constitution classes with 4 dice and coming in a lot cheaper than what the Negvar has to offer. We get 2 captains in this pack. The first is Kira Nerys. She's skill 4, 1 talent slot, 2 points. When a crew upgrade on an enemy ship within range 1 to 2 of your ship performs an action that would affect your ship, you may disable this card to prevent that action from taking effect. If you do this, the enemy ship cannot take another action that round. If the enemy crew was disabled to perform the action, it remains disabled. If it was discarded, then it's disabled instead. Not a bad little trick. Not the captain I reach for all the time, but certainly a decent option at 2 points. Yeah, there's only limited viability since only crew upgrades affect this, but more often than not, it's crew upgrades that are doing the messing. So Kira could be a thing. The problem is there's a lot of captains that are better than Kira. We also get Worf. He's a captain and an admiral. His captain version is skill 3, 1 talent slot, 2 points. Action, target a friendly ship at range 1 to 2 with a hull value of 3 or less. The target ship immediately makes 1 free attack with its primary weapon against an enemy ship in its forward firing arc. Place an auxiliary power token beside the target ship. Pretty good for a 3 skill captain, because you can use it at skill 3, target a ship that hasn't moved yet, they get to shoot, they can do a green move, they can clear their aux power, and then they can still take actions like normal. Worf is great in a swarm situation. He works really well as part of a Klingon fleet. He also works to give the ISS Defiant a shot. The Admiral version of him works much the same, except it's a fleet action, so any ship within range 1 to 2 can trigger Worf to target another friendly ship, and that gives you a ton of flexibility. That version of Worf costs you 2 points. So you have some potential. Worf is okay. His best place is in a swarm type of fleet. You don't want him as your lone captain on a bunch of heavy hitters, mostly because you're not taking that few of hull value ships. But as part of a Klingon swarm, bring it on. We get a bunch of upgrades on this pack. The first is I will deal with them myself. It's an elite talent. Costs 5 points. During the roll attack dice step, you may discard this card to disable up to 2 of your crew upgrades. If you do so, roll 1 additional attack die for that attack for each upgrade you disabled with this card. I like that it's not an action, so you can take battle stations, you can bring up your total die count by 2, make 1 hit that's really going to count. It can be used in conjunction with secondary weapons, so that can boost a meganometric guided charge. Some of those low value weapons, Ferengi missile launcher is another one that comes to mind. It gives you some extra uses of your crew. Maybe you're running some re-enable crew cycles. You have to have the crew slots to do it, so it's not going to work all the time. Where it can be really good is with Ben Sisko, because he discards crew to get a similar effect. So you take really cheap crew, or crew that give you a bonus in fleet building, and that's it. And you can disable them once for an extra die, and then you can discard them for another extra die. It's not the best card out there, but there are some uses for it. Another elite talent is Make It So. It's 3 points. During the activation phase after you move, you may discard this card and disable one of your crew upgrades to perform one additional action this round as a free action. There's some drawbacks there, but for all those times that you wish you could target lock and do battle stations to really make your attack count, here you go. Or maybe you want to evade and have something for offense, well, you got it. It's also not limited to action bar actions, so if you need to set up a combo of your upgrades, maybe you need to do 2 different crew actions, or a tech and a crew action. You can do that. There's a ton of potential here. Yeah, you only can do it once, but sometimes once is enough. Our last elite talent is in Tendance Orders. 2 points. During the planning phase, you may disable this card to remove up to 2 disable upgrade tokens from your crew. Nice combo with I will deal with them myself. Also potentially a nice piece from some crew disabling. It can also be something if you have various crew members that disable to do something. Use one, use another one, use in Tendance Orders, get them back to do it again. It's a potential piece. I don't know that it's a piece that everybody wants, but it's out there. We get a metric ton of crew. The first off is Odo. He's 3 points. Action. Select one of your disabled crew upgrades and perform that upgrade's action as a free action. Then discard that crew upgrade. It's not something you need to do often, but if you're in a desperate situation, being able to use an action of someone who's disabled could keep you in the game. There's a lot of scenarios that will disable upgrades, sometimes at random, sometimes your choice. If you find out that you need one of your upgrades, then Odo would give you a use of it. Yeah, then you lose the upgrade forever. But I'd rather survive one round and not have an upgrade than be dead and still have my upgrade around. Because if I'm dead, well, it doesn't matter if I have my upgrades. So Odo is definitely mission viable. He's definitely seasoned to taste. I don't want him around all the time, but he's out there. Next up, we have Elam Garak. While Elam Garak is assigned to a Mirror Universe ship, add 2 to that captain's skill number. During the roll attack die step, you may disable your captain card to gain +1 die for the attack. Pretty decent crew. I mean, it's 3 points, but 3 points for a constant bonus 2 to your skill is a decent trade-off. Also, if you have a cheap captain, or a captain that only works in fleet building, you disable him, you get +1 attack die, you're good to go. I like Garak. He gives you stuff to work with, and there's not much downside to him. Next up, we have Burrell Antos. He's 2 points. Action, disable this card to target a ship at range 1 to 3. Choose a tech upgrade and roll 1 attack die. On a hit or crit, you either discard the tech upgrade or steal it. Hint, you want to steal it. Your ship must have at least 1 tech upgrade slot in order to steal it. If the stolen upgrade exceeds your ship's restrictions, you must discard one of your tech upgrades to open a slot for it. Burrell Antos is a live by the die by the die card. But if you feel lucky, and your opponent has that annoying tech, then he's potentially worth it. And there's some very annoying tech out there, improved deflector screens, that is worth stealing. Besides improved deflector screens, you have things like multi-adaptive shields, high energy sensor sweep. There's a lot of stuff out there that if you can steal it, you're denying your opponent points. And a lot of these games come down to points. So Burrell's 50-50. I'll take my chances. Maybe I run him with Federation Ben Sisko, and I can re-roll that die. Now my odds are up to 75%. I'll take those chances. Our last crew is Brunt. He's 1 point. At the start of the end phase, you may discard Brunt to target an enemy ship at range 1 to 3, and give them an auxiliary power token. This is a card that was responsible for winning Worlds 2015. It's not to be overlooked. Giving out auxiliary power token at will is a great option. 1 or 2 points off faction is worth it. Find ways to make this work. Pack comes with photon torpedoes. Yeah, we don't care. For tech, we have a cloaking device. It works like every other cloaking device. You spend 4 points. Now you can cloak. While you're cloaked, you can sensor echo. I actually like the cloaking device on the Regent's flagship because you're not trading off that many shields. You have 7 hull, and that's a lot for a cloaked ship. That's almost as much as the scimitar. And you're in a position where you can survive a bad die roll. This isn't a Klingon bird of prey where a bad die roll takes out your 3 hull and you're gone. This is, you take a bad die roll, maybe you take some hits, you're hurting, but you're still around. And the last card in this pack is Tractor Beam. It's a 3-point tech. Action. Target a ship at range 1 and roll 2 attack dice. For every hit or crit result, place 1 auxiliary power token beside the target ship. Pretty good if you want to mess with your opponent. But I'm going to throw out a weird potential for you guys. Use this on a friendly ship to target the ISS Avenger when it's in your fleet. You're close by. You roll 2 dice. You're 75% likely to give yourself an auxiliary power token that you need in order to roll extra attack dice. Now, we'll get into that more when I do an ISS Avenger video. But you can't attack yourself. You can't steal from yourself. But nothing says you can't target yourself with an ability like this. And is it shenanigan-y? Yes. Did I just make up the word shenanigan-y? Yes. But it's kind of fun. And plus, if they said you could only target an enemy ship, they'd word it exactly like Brunt. So, I think I have a point. You can do this. It's tricky. There are very few times that you'd actually want to inflict yourself with auxiliary power, but it's out there. Make it work if you feel like it. Alright, overall, Regent's flagship. It's worth owning. Ship is really good. Worf is a cool admiral, captain, however you choose to use it. The upgrades are varied, but they're pretty good. I'm not going to say it's my favorite Mirror Universe ship, but the Mirror Universe faction would be incomplete without it. As for what my favorite is, you'll have to figure that out because spoilers. But there's some very good cards here. Brunt is a very good card. Garak is very playable. The talents are decent. Cloaking device here is good. This is one of those packs that works as a whole. It gives you plenty of options, and it boosts the rest of the faction. It's maybe not the most cohesive ship in and of itself, but what it does do well is that it ties together everything that happens in the Mirror Universe, and it all works. I think it's worth it. Go out, get this pack if you don't have it. If you have it, you already know that it's worth owning. And until next time, we'll see you around the shipyard. Thanks so much for watching. Take care, guys.